Great call, great notes, still no clue what to do next. And that's the problem. Your notebook is full, your next move is still missing. And if you have ever left a strategy call, a coaching call, a mastermind, a workshop, a Zoom, a lunch, a coffee, you should totally do this conversation and felt amazing for 12 minutes, then woke up the next morning and thought, okay, now what? It's for you, speaking to you, because that moment is so brutal and it happens all the time. Great call, great ideas, amazing energy. I love the notes. You're nodding. You're fired up. You're writing down things like your pen is trying to qualify for the Olympics. And you're thinking, this is it. This is the thing. This is gonna change everything. Then life shows up the next morning wearing sweatpants and holding a dirty coffee mug. Yeah, right? You open your laptop, you stare at your LinkedIn headline, you stare at your bio, still weird, still boring. You stare at your website, still kind of saying everything and nothing at the same time. You stare at the post box, the blank, very blank, aggressively blank email inbox. Like that blank screen is judging you. And then you look at your notes, and your notes say something like, tell a better story, be more specific, post more, lead with value, own my edge. Great. Cool. I love that. But what does that mean at 8:13 in the morning when the dog needs to go out, your inbox is yelling, and you've got 19 minutes before your next call? That's the problem. The problem is not that the call was bad. The problem is that the breakthrough never became usable. Let me say that again. The breakthrough never became usable. That is why I care so much about what happens after the ONLY Statement Audit, because I don't want you feeling fired up and then waking up stuck. I don't want you leaving with goosebumps and a messy notebook. I want you leaving with the words and the moves. That's the difference. The call finds the thing, and then the deliverable you get afterwards gives you the words and the moves. That's the whole point. And the process starts at findyouronly.app. That's the front door where you answer 8 questions in under 8 minutes, and it's free. Simple. That app gives me the first clues, and then you're gonna book. I know it. You're gonna book that 1-hour ONLY Statement Audit. That is where we pull the thread. That is where I listen for the pause. That is where I catch the line you almost skipped. That's where we find the $2 bill. But the call's not the finish line. The call is where we find the thing. The deliverable is where we turn the thing into action. And that matters, because a good idea with no next move becomes clutter, becomes another note, another tab, another half-written post, another headline you meant to fix, another line in your phone that says, good content idea? 3 question marks. Because even you were not sure. We all have those. I have those. I have notes in my phone that look like they were written by a raccoon who got access to ChatGPT at midnight. Pickle story plus brand bridge. Dave and Buster's clock metaphor maybe. Call about thing with thing. That is not a plan. That's a cry for help. And that's why the deliverable matters, because your brand cannot live in scattered notes. Your brand has to become words you can use and moves you can make. What do I say? What do I post? What do I change? What do I lead with? What do I stop saying? What story do I finally tell? What do I do next, Brad? That's the win. Not just feeling clear, but knowing what to do next. That is why my audit does not end with the call. It ends with the words and the moves. After the call, I build the deliverable. And I don't mean a tiny recap. I don't mean great chatting today. You are awesome. Keep going. No, that is a motivational granola bar. And listen, granola bars have their place mostly in backpacks, glove boxes, and the bottom of sports bags where they become fossilized. I know I'm talking to you, but that's not what I'm giving you. I'm giving you something you can use, your only statement, and usually multiple versions, your brand thread, your key moments from the call, the story you should stop hiding, the part people already trust about you, your ideal client language, your positioning, your content direction, your platform language, your next moves, the words and the moves. That's the deliverable, and that's the difference, because most people do not need another amazing conversation. You need the thing to change on Monday morning, or Tuesday morning, or whatever morning it is when you finally stop avoiding your bio. And yes, I'm saying you, because maybe this is what you've done. You had the call, you got the feedback, you felt the spark. Someone told you, you should tell that story, you should post more, you should get more visible, you should really lean into your brand, you should share your journey, you should be more specific. Okay? Then what? What exactly do you write? What exactly goes in that first line? What goes in your bio? What should your headline say? What story do you lead with? What angle should you use? What do you say when someone asks, so, what do you do? And that's where people get stuck. You're not lazy. You're serious. But the idea never became a move. The idea never became a move. And your brand does not grow from ideas you never use. It grows from words you say, posts you publish, stories you tell, and moves you make. And that's what the deliverable is for. It turns the call into action. All right, let me give you a few examples. These transformations are all real. One client, Candy came in with a message that sounded kind and helpful, but way too soft. And on the call, we found the deeper story, a body transformation, a money transformation, a self-worth transformation, a season where she rebuilt herself. That was powerful. But if we stop there, it could have become another emotional moment that faded by breakfast. So the deliverable turned it into usable language. It wasn't just Candy has a great story. No. It became, here's the thread. Here's the only statement. Here are the angles. Here's who needs this. Here's what she could stop hiding from. Here's what she can post. Here's how the story connects to the work. Now, the idea had legs. Now it can move. And another client, Marcus, came in with business experience. But the real edge was hiding in the way he had learned discipline, calm, and pressure through martial arts. It was a great moment on the call. But again, that call, not enough. The deliverable turned that edge into language. How does that show up in his work? Why do people trust him? What makes him different from someone else with the same title? What does he say next? What are the words he can use? And now he had something he could build from. And another client, Landon, had a story of surgeries, of setbacks and rebuilding. And on the call, that thread became clear. Rebuilding foundations. But the deliverable turned that into something he could actually use with clients, with investors and partners. And it wasn't just a nice story. It was a positioning angle, a way to explain trust, a way to talk about deals, a way to lead with something only he could own. That's what happens when the idea becomes a move. A breakthrough without language does not travel. Let me say that again. A breakthrough without language does not travel. It stays in the room, it stays in your head, it stays in the notebook. And 3 days later, life comes back. School pickups, client calls, bills, emails, text messages, the dog looking at you like you forgot something, which you probably did. I know you. The world gets loud again. So if the breakthrough does not become words and moves, disappears. That's why this deliverable exists. It gives the breakthrough somewhere to go. It gives you something to hold, something to read, something to use, something to build from. It takes the messy gold from the call and turns it into, you got to say this, you got to try this, now post this, now change this, why don't you lead with this, stop saying this, do this next. That's what your brand needs. Because the goal is not to feel inspired, although that will happen. The goal is to become easier to understand, easier to remember, and easier to refer. And that does not happen because you had a great call. It happens because the great call became action. That is what I want you to understand. That findyouronly.app, it's great. It gives you clues. But the audit pulls the thread. The deliverable gives you the words and the moves. That's the system. And I built it this way because I know what it feels like to have a great idea and still not know what to do with it. I've lived that. I've had the notes. Those half ideas, the brilliant sentence I wrote down at midnight and looked at the next morning like, was I okay? Was I okay? Did I write this? Do I need to check on myself? Why does this say pickle parachute strategy? Nobody knows, and they still don't. But this is exactly why the work has to become clear, because messy notes do not build a brand. Usable language does. Specific next moves do. That is what you get after the audit. The words and the moves. Not just here is who you are, but here's how you use it. In your bio, in your content, your intro, your offers, profile. Use it in the way you talk to the next person who asks what you do. That is the win. So if you're tired of great conversations that go nowhere, if your notebook is full but your next move is still missing, if you know your brand needs clear words and clear moves, you got to start at findyouronly.app. That's where you start. Findyouronly.app. It's 8 questions in under 8 minutes. Then book the 1-hour Only Statement Audit. The call is going to find the thing. And the deliverable gives you the words and the moves. Do not let another good idea die in a notebook. And if you know someone with a notebook full of great ideas and no idea what to do next, please send this to them. Seriously, send it now. Tag them, do it, text it to them. Do whatever you have to do. They don't need another great call. They need the next move. And if this hits home, tell me in the comments, what is sitting in your notebook right now that you still have not used? A lot? Don't let it happen again. Be the only. Be the $2 bill.